what deck we want to play and stuff like that. Um, I guess I could play this prediction Princess Shaddoll list I got.
Okay.
It do be all over.
Why did you make that deck?
I don't know, because I could.
I'll try this deck, I guess.
Yeah. Uh, admittedly, I haven't kept up enough with the meta. I just know that Sword Soul is really good right now, and
Yeah. I don't think anyone's really kept up with it.
I mean that explains why almost all the YouTubers are doing past formats instead.
Yeah.
Mm, But yeah, I I think it's I think also like it probably has to do with like um maybe the format's not as fun, or maybe they just they're old boomers like us, and they're oh god, it's this deck. It's uh yeah, maybe it has something to do with that.
Oh god, it's this deck. Is it that bad?
The Mystic Mine that makes me go, oh god. If it like this deck is literally like nothing without that, really. Like I couldn't care less.
I know, the Mystic Mine is the only thing that keeps this deck going.
Yeah. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. I maybe it's because like the Yugi tubers are like out of a lot of them anyway. The bigger,
Touch?
yeah, are out of touch probably because like just like we are. It's just
Try and get back into touch, eventually.
yeah. I like
I feel like we
th-
should.
that's probably why they place like most of them place sealed formats of some sort now instead of just playing the actual game. Um then again, I think older formats bring in more views possibly. Uh I have no idea if that's 100% true or not, but that's what I'm guessing is that they probably bring in more views because of a mixture of nostalgia and then and all that. But oh yes, I too play that card.
That's why I said I wish that was me whenever you opened up with that.
You have a lot more draw power in your deck than I do.
Oh
Al-
yeah, no,
Although I don't think I need that much draw power, considering I always open up either pre prep or I always open up pretty much
don't
at
even
the
know what I'm
beginning.
doing with I don't even know what I'm doing with this draw power yet. I made, the Anaconda, but I don't think I needed to.
I think I think we were off stream when you said it, but I just remembered like the epiphany you had on good deck building. You're like, I realized how to make janky decks work. You just throw in a bunch of draw power. uh, just throw in a bunch of draw power. It works, I guess. That's like when I was getting like more and more competitive in the game. I pretty much how I figured out how to play properly is that you would like uh is I would build the core into the deck as much as possible, and then throw in a bunch of staples, and it worked. Like just like uh all the time. Um, and because the staples back then were like there was battle traps and stuff like that, it worked like perfectly fine. Uh, do this. Um, would you like a squamata?
What's he do? Does he draw you a card, doesn't he?
No, he sends another one.
Come on, that's fine.
How about Falco? Is Falco fine?
I don't think I can deal Falco.
All right.
That's not me being sarcastic either. I know what Falco leads to.
Oh,
Ah, yeah, Shaddoll Fusion. That's a powerful card, man.
mm-hmm. We do this one, and then we definitely do it this way too. This, that, um, this. And then we'll have the add one that you can.
Okay, so this does this. We'll take that. We'll do this. We'll take that.
We'll add the beast to hand. Okay, so you use that effect. You use that effect. Now we play the ritual spell. We do this. The draw card. Destroy a spell or trap. Uh, Falco. Then we use Falco's effect to summon itself back. It was destroyed by a card effect. We use this effect, change the monster to face down defense position. This. Use this effect to add a Shaddoll card, and then uh, discard a card. We'll discard the Squamata. Then we'll use said Squamata. And we'll send any Shaddoll card we want to the graveyard. I've used almost all of them, so we'll send another copy of Inclination. And then we attack over. Then end phase, we get to summon any flip monster back from our graveyard or hand. And I guess we'll do Beast, because it draws two and discards a card. Ooh, it's worse. This. Okay, well. Get +1. Oop. And I'm just going to end the turn.
Hmm.
Waiting for the old all the ban list predictions, unless everybody realizes how dumb those are.
Now people are idiots and name their shit like after the ban list prediction stuff.
Mm-hmm.
They still do the ban list predictions. People still do. They just do them way in advance. Okay.
Gives them some leeway to say, hey, I was wrong about this because when I posted the list, this was why. Monsters can't change their battle. The face down defense will do this. So that even if you do get that guy back, you can't equip it. Oh, I can't respond to that one.
I fucked up. Fine. It's fine. Really fucked up.
Okay. Big monster.
Not what I intended to do. I'm going to be real with you.
You trying to fuse my two face downs?
No, I forgot that the prediction princess was not dark type.
Yeah, it's one of my light targets in the deck. I'm not gonna do as much as I'd like to, but we're gonna do this anyway.
You know what? Fuck you.
Do. I can just sit here. Okay.
That's brutal.
I guess we play the Michael waits till Stefan decks out game.
Yeah, no, it looks like that's what it's going to turn into, isn't it?
Mm-hmm.
I attack that, he becomes live.
Cards. Okay. Now we need it. Oh wait, it's not gonna work.
And how to play Yosinju's.
Even if I do this, look this up, your monster resolves, and then mine can't resolve because Mystic Mine. Well,
How to play this game. Just a little bit. Just a tiny.
I guess there's one thing to do.
Oh, construct.
A different form of it.
Yeah, it just. Why did they call it Shadal construct? They knew what they were doing.
Speaking of construct,
Ah, yeah, that's a very constructive card.
no, I don't want to bring back my Link monster at the moment. That's the
Do
opposite.
it. You won't do it, you coward.
Correct. Because now I can actually do this. Gonna get rid of yours, and then yours is gonna blow up mine. I guess we'll get El Shaddai Fusion back. Uh, let's Ritual Summon. Why not?
Like, I don't think I one turn kill, so you would have been safe just ending there.
Correct.
Deck isn't exactly known for its explosive plays. So you can Book of Moon with that thing on my turn, right?
Yeah. This card's okay. It's just that it like none of the other prediction princesses are good. This one and then the other one would be fine if it didn't have the like downside of didn't have the downside of you can only activate prediction princess monsters. Well, you're gonna get rid of it, but I'm Book of Mooning this on my way out.
No.
Another dark. Get punished, idiot. Got him, dude.
That's messed up, man. Got that honest? Got three of them in hand? Kill me?
Nah, I don't. That would have been amazing though. Honest, 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 dead.
I've done it before on one of the games. Like, opponent attacked me and I was like, honest, 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 you die.
I was in a tag duel one time years ago. This was when Honest went from limited to two, and it was really funny because it like I was playing a tag duel and my opponent was or my partner was playing Galaxy Eyes, right? And
Okay.
and I was like, okay, cool, they're attacking. And their galaxy they're like a 4,000 galaxy monster out, and they're like, oh cool, they're attacking, whatever, and they activate they go honest, activate the trap card that's an honest or something like that, or no, they get attacked. That's what it was. They're like 3,000 guy gets attacked by like a 4,000 big idiot monster, and then they go honest, or they activate the trap card and go honest, or something like that, and just like kill them. But I was like, holy. Um, Summon Ikanaga. That passed. But yeah, I was like, what the? Because there's a I
What
don't
do you
remember.
do?
I don't remember. Oh, this is if your special summon monster activates a trap card. I can send that shit all card to negate it. say no to that. I should have discarded the other card. If I did it the other way, I would have been fine. Well, I guess we'll get this.
I don't know what I'm doing.
Exchange. What was it? The Imagine if I flip the card that exchanges our deck and our graveyards.
Oh, I mean, I'd probably still lose because most of the gas is actually banished from this deck.
Behold, Spirit of the Fall Wind. We'll get the pot of
Ah,
the
yes. F class card.
these two. Go fight mode. And smack you up a little bit.
Well, I can't really fear your face downs because
Yeah. You gotta play like it is. I don't have anything. That's the position you're in.
save me.
Well, I guess I'll take this opportunity. To... Continue. Dude.
Well, that's concerning. Well, let's see what you make.
When I figure it out, I'll let you know. One of these two, because it's my only options. That doesn't do
Got the
anything.
wind.
Of the two that. Yeah,
Thing's untargetable, right?
I wish. it's it's can't be destroyed if I target itself. It targets a monster, and that monster can't be destroyed. Although I'm running out of resources as well, so okay. Construct. I get to draw a card. I get to steal this. I get to be upset about it. Guess what? Now it can't be destroyed. Haha. All right, go ahead and take it. All right.
Deck is
Okay.
resilient, if not anything else.
Let's go.
You're not dead?
Oh, not yet, dude. I still got some fight in me. Uh,
I believe you. You've faced this deck and all incarnations of it I've made.
but
That's that's true because I usually don't like brainstorm with this deck. I just add things. If it don't work, take it out and find something else to put in it.
then we go to end phase, and then we activate this to special summon one flip monster. Then you try to eat it, and then I book a moon your monster. And that's fine. And then I got my pot of the forbidden. Now I
Oh,
get
so forbidden.
these two this, and we'll get these two. Now, while your monster's face down, we're gonna activate this, and we're gonna banish this in Wendigo, and then we're gonna put this in face up defense position. So now we can blow we can do one of four things, and we're gonna destroy your Millennium Eyes. Boom! Giga brain play. Huge brain. Massive. Ooh, it gets worse.
If I can't win by fucking killing you, then I'm gonna lose by deck out. Oh, that's a card.
Drew a pre-prep. Woo. And I'm out of targets. The old keep passing. Such a rigorous and exciting gameplay.
I'm not giving up. That might work later on down the line.
You only got 2 turns to figure it out.
Yeah, I'm seeing if I get the card to make it playable. um,
Playing around
which brings back that. We can do that. That might work.
celebrating the multi-dimensional kaiju.
I fucked up.
Did you run out of Venom dragons?
No, I forgot that this guy is not a level 1. Would have worked. He was level 1.
Get punished, idiot. Got you, dude.
All right.
Alright. Time to go for game.
What the last card was?
Mm.
Seen the whole deck.
No, I meant to say no. Oh, whatever. I'll just normal summon this and punch. We'll play around Gores in case you're feeling a little crazy today and just threw it in there.
I don't know. I always throw random stuff in there. Actually, want to see what my last card was, but I'll do that later.
Dylan book don't really have that kind of function. I also made a sub-terror version of Prediction Princess. This one's a lot worse though than the Shadal one, so I'm just gonna delete it.
Why?
I don't know. I was just kind of like, you know what? Prediction. That's one day.
Still got that deck. God, that deck is so stupid.
I guess I could play Gaga Gauze.
I have this deck. I really need to rename it, but I still have it.
Jankyygo, but we actually play Yu-Gi-Oh! Is the title of the stream, by the way.
What's the title of it? Where we
Janky
actually play Yu-Gi-Oh?
Janky Yu-Gi-Oh stream, but we actually play Yu-Gi-Oh.
Yeah, we haven't been doing that lately. We're kind of going against my whole entire thing of I hate it when people diversify.
But the thing is that it's like Yu-Gi-Oh, especially until Master Duel comes out. Um,
It's getting pretty stagnant. I get it. We hit a point where it was like, yeah, no, the only content we have is other stuff.
or
Sorry.
well, you can't really play either. Like you can't play Yu-Gi-Oh on this and stream it really because just no one shows up. It's like the main
Yeah.
like huge main issue. So
You can always become a judge on Dueling Book.
that sounds like hell.
I don't know. Watch him, what's his face do it. It looked like he has fun.
Yeah, well, this thing,
Head judge. All right. You know what? You want to dispute it? Cool.
Distant is a different breed of person, okay?
Yeah.
Listen, I hated explaining people rulings and everything and why things work the way they work and all that, and getting into arguments on there constantly before freaking having to, volunteer myself for it. All right. I don't want to volunteer myself for something I don't like doing in the first place. But yeah, I'm not sure if he's an official judge. I know that there are some people on
He
Dueling
is.
Book that aren't actually official judges
I
by
was
Konami.
watching the stream the other day, and he's like, I've only judged like one big event ever, mostly a player, I think, but
Mhm.
he's actually an official judge.
Okay, because I know some people aren't actually judges that are, they judge on Dueling Book, but they aren't like Konami official judges. So
Which is ridiculous to think because it's way easier to become a Konami judge than
yeah,
back when I did it. You had to fucking know old rules.
yeah, you had to know outdated rules that don't make sense.
Yeah.
I was so like on I was watching Simo's series The History of Yu-Gi-Oh! And they got the Dino Rabbit format, which fun fact almost killed Yu-Gi-Oh! Uh
Yeah. I played Dino Rabbit
uh
not when it was like super popular, but when it was affordable.
mm, yeah,
People hated playing the game with me.
you know what? But anyway, so and I was like watching them play and I was like, this doesn't seem correct. Like what they're doing, this doesn't seem correct. Uh
Were they not playing with priority?
oh they were. It's just that like uh some of the plays that they didn't seem like the correct line of play. But like also like Timo was on Dino Rabbit and the person he was playing against actually did a good job of what you're supposed to do. So I can't fault them for that because they
You had
like
me playing Dino Rabbit format, and I know what to do. But I played during that time.
I was on break. I actually didn't come back to the game until shortly after wind up format.
Yeah, wind up format was definitely a format. But no, I know how to play Dino Rabbit pretty well because the correct way to play it is control.
Yeah.
You're trying to control the other player, which is probably why it almost killed Yu-Gi-Oh! Because Yu-Gi-Oh's never really been that bad of a control game. Not that explosive of control, in my opinion. It's my opinion. I'm probably wrong as hell, but when I
So
was playing it, it felt way more control, and the control was easier to set up. And you got punished for not playing the control, and you got punished for not drawing the control.
So the reason it actually almost killed Yu-Gi-Oh had nothing to do with necessarily that. What it actually had to do with was the fact that it wasn't. Most people didn't find it very fun, so that is correct. But also there was no hits to Dino or Rabbit the first ban list that came around for it.
Oof.
They just hit Plant Synchron or Synchro again, which hadn't been relevant at all that format. The two relevant decks
Still, when
was
we had the OCG compared to the TCG list combined, though,
yeah, because that didn't
because then that
happen.
makes sense. Because OCG didn't have one of the evil stars.
Yeah. So the reason because the split didn't happen until the format after either the format that Spellbook of Judgment got banned or the ban list right after that. It was one of the two. I think it was the Spellbook of Judgment banned because I'm pretty sure that was the list that also banned Heavy Storm and Monster Reborn, and where our list started to diversify because the OCG list didn't ban Monster Reborn or Heavy Storm. So it was
Yeah, no, the Japanese list, I could see that. It would screw things up.
so yeah. I'm pretty sure that's why. That's where because I remember uh that I'm pretty sure that that's why. I know that there's a lot of decks that weren't a thing over here that were in Japan because we never got the cards, but were hit on our list still, even though they didn't exist over here, and it led to like all kinds of balancing issues. Like the Chronomalies, one of the Never Disc was hit on the official ban list when we shared a ban list, even though that card didn't exist over here, because
Yeah,
Chronomalies were a top tier deck over in the OCG because they were a good control deck
yeah.
until like I think Fire Fist came out.
Japan didn't have full powered
Wind up.
Dino Rabbit, and we did.
We also had full
People
power
were
wind ups.
pissed that Japan didn't have it, and we did, so it fucked us over.
People also we also had full power wind ups and they didn't immediately because I believe Shark was a TCG exclusive.
That makes sense.
I need to out that thing and also play around your back row somehow.
Mama Apron kicks your ass.
So that's probably that. So we're gonna summon this, I guess.
You know, yeah, that does out me.
Can we punch this? Attempt
My
to.
back row doesn't do anything to a monster that's inherently big.
Okay. Because I was thinking that like if it did, even if it did do something, I could like negate it at the very least, and then I save myself some damage. Because
Think you have me because I screwed up in my line of playing. Been a while since I played this deck. I probably should have stopped you from making a play, and I would have been fine. I screwed up. I forgot that that card was a card,
yeah, I got the
even though I just seen it.
like I was also thinking right about
Yeah, I could have stopped that exceed play, and I should have.
but that
What
doesn't
else were you thinking about?
I was just thinking about because banless season is around the corner. I was thinking about what cards can but probably aren't coming off the list for some reason. Like there's still no reason Cyberjar should be on the list. There's zero reason.
Yeah, you're right.
Like it's wild because so one of the YouTuber, well, he's more of a streamer now, but he started off on YouTube. Was um they do he does this thing where he occasionally, well, he'll unban cards and stuff like that in his own like format to see what does what and everything. And like most of the, and I think he ended up unbanning like 50 cards, and the ban list was still, or and the meta decks were still like the same.
That's messed up.
So like it goes to show that a lot of the like a lot of the cards can come off, and it really probably won't affect anything. Well, then again, it's also a smaller sample size. Like his community is probably like uh I don't know, like a few thousand people probably watch him, but only like maybe 100 or two actually enter the tournaments. So in that situation, like when I think of it that way, the sample size is pretty small. I know that like he's smart in the sense that he doesn't unban literally everything, or and he
Oh,
does.
not like that ban list. Not like that ban list that I had to show the one server that was stupid.
Yeah, so like for example, he didn't like he unbanned Blaster, but he didn't unban the other two because the other two are much better. Just in general, they're like way too fucking good. Um, because the Dragon Ruler, the Blaster is the worst one. Well, Tempest is the worst one. Blaster is the second worst nowadays. Because like it's kind of crazy how Blaster went from being considered the best to being considered like the second worst.
Yeah, that happens.
Because
And
effectively,
lose, right?
yeah, you're very dead.
Okay, yeah, super dead. But
But yeah,
yeah, no, I know when people don't think about ban lists and how they affect everything, they end up making lists that make me look like a jackass.
so like for example, there's cards that are on
Fucking run into one.
there are cards on the ban list that aren't on the ban list because of balancing issues. They're only on there for ruling headaches and cards
Yeah,
that don't quite uh
those should stay.
like Victory Dragon and
He never should have been.
printed
He should have been printed like all the other ones were, where it just said at the bottom can't be used in.
a duel. Yeah.
Yeah,
Because the thing about that one is that like the reason, like the main reason why that's even an issue is because of the idea of, oh well, I scoop or I concede before you can attack, and then
yeah.
that's gonna cause arguments. Same thing with like last turn. Last turn is like a very outdated and very like really weird and niche, but it's more that it won a few tournaments and stuff like that, and then it got limited, and then it got banned. Ah, hello bot.
Is there a bot? I don't have YouTube up because we're actually playing Yu-Gi-Oh, and it'd be cheating if I could peek at your hand. I try to play fair every once in a while.
I'll just delete the bots comment. I guess it not like they didn't say anything. They didn't post a link or anything. I just still hide user on. I guess. But yeah. Um. Fiber jar probably like from a balancing standpoint could come back. It's just it causes like headaches because it inevitably someone's gonna play it and it's gonna cause the tournaments to go longer.
Yeah. There are new rules. It's not like it matters. Just ended on that turn.
Yeah, I know. And same thing. That's like that's the reason why self destruct is also banned is because it dragged out tournaments. So like realistically, they could bring those back since they changed like most of the rules that make those stuff like make stuff like that problematic and stuff like that for the tournaments. So, like, I think almost all the jars can come back really. Like Cyber Jar has a broken effect, but also like who's gonna play Cyber Jar and who's gonna rely on setting a monster in like 2022 where that just means that you're gonna
Yeah.
die because you're not even if you like set a monster set five or set four and pass, it's still not gonna be like really that great considering you're probably gonna get OTK'd while you got a full new grip.
Only she was level 10, I would have killed you.
Good old Gustav Max.
Fire the cannon! Oh, what does that do?
It summons a Gagaga from the deck, but now I can only XEs. I can't special summon except for XE summon now.
Sounds terrible.
Yeah. It came out at a time when the game was slow enough that it was fine. Or at least in the OCG. In the TCG we didn't get it till way too late. Uh but you know, it is what it is. I guess I could do that.
They could have bounced him back the hand and it would have stopped you dead in your tracks.
Yeah.
Oh, that's Exciton.
I guess you could say this is an exciting play. I don't see myself out. An exciton play, if you will.
That's fine.
Back. Also, like, when I watch a lot of those sealed formats, I'm like, man, they probably hate me if I played in this. Uh, because my luck is way too good for a lot of those. Like, Timo has that auction series where him and this other guy bid fake money on products. They have a like a limit, and like there's times in structure decks like they'll go, oh, okay, here's one structure deck, and they're like, all right, so they're not allowed to look up what's in the sets and everything to even refresh.
But I
So,
mean, if you know what's in all the structure decks,
but yeah, but for structure decks, for example, it's really funny because they'll be like, oh, hey, the staples, and I'm like, no, 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 I would play that stock, and I'd somehow probably win. I'm really good for some reason at getting in these very weird and niche situations that like
it works.
that just should never happen when I use dumb decks and stuff like that. Like when I played the what's it called? Like when I played the stock dinosaur deck against you and I used the trap card that destroyed all normal monsters on the field and special summoned all as many dinos from the deck, and you had like three paleos out when I flipped it. because they're normals. You what? Me? Yeah.
Yeah, it works.
And then, or the time when I bought three synchro, and I literally just fucking I mashed them together and played. No, I bought one and then was gonna buy the other two, at a later date because Dan only had one at the time, and I was like, okay. And then you're like, hey, do you want to play one? It's like, all I got is this deck with me, but sure. You're like, are you sure? If you only have a structure deck with you, and I'm like, no, that's fine. And then like, we got into this really weird situation where you like MST'd my back row, and it was the one that like summons out Speed Warrior or something like that from the deck. You're like, oh come on. Yeah, you're like, oh come on, dude. And I'm like, yeah. This
Mm,
I'm dead, huh?
think
Yep.
I was trying to make it so you couldn't fucking excite on me, but I realized I probably could have killed you a while ago. But we were talking, so I just kept the plays going to see where I could go.
But
Like I
yeah,
could have just made Verticon the Anaconda Vertic I could have just made Verte made um Dragoon and won.
at some point we should play one of the new alternate formats that Konami talked about. Hasn't like the article.
Ah, well, send me the article.
I don't have it. And it was a long time ago. But
Yeah, yeah.
um, the TLDR is that there's multiple formats. There's common only. There is deck master. There is time wizard, which is literally just playing a past format that the players agree upon at a tournament, or the tournament organizers set, hey, it's going to be this past format. You can only use cards from that format and back and stuff like that. Um, those are the three that I remember off the top of my head. I know that there's like one or two more, but the Deckmaster one was terrible because they did this dumb thing where Deckmaster's effects linger even when they're in the Deckmaster zone. So they just have their
So the
effects.
terrible part of the new EDH monster or commanders.
Yeah, it's like Eminence, but worse because Yu-Gi-Oh has like floodgates that literally stop you from playing in that regard. Common only, like a lot of people are pretty. Oh, the other one is like you can't play one of the decks that is doing well of the current format or that's doing super well. I don't remember what that format's called, but it pretty much is like, for example, if you couldn't play if that was the tournament that you're playing, you couldn't play Tenyi what's it called? Tenyi Sword Soul
Huh.
or like any of the like top four decks or something like that. And it's to like promote people trying other strategies is the idea. But the problem with that format is that people already typically know what the next best deck is and everything.
Yeah. If it's like, oh, this deck would have done well if this deck wasn't here, and it's like, oh, that deck's not here. Time to.
Yeah. And it's like for common only, the problem is that funny enough, most of the Tenyi cards, which is half of like the meta deck and everything, is
Almonds.
commons. So Tenyi is like best deck. Second best deck is Goki because all the Gokis have been reprinted as commons. And then the third best deck, actually, funny enough, is Luna Control, because three of the kaijus are printed as common. Luna is a common. Ash and Effect Veilers are commons, and a lot of the like staple cards that you have for the deck are commons. So
Yeah. I still have that Salomon Great structure deck, three of them unopened.
I think the deck's like
I think the first editions too.
I think the deck's really expensive because of Ash the Ash Blossom in there alone is like $20.
Yeah. I bought three of them because it was like, oh, spend $10 and I get ash blossoms. Spend $30 and get three ashes. And I just never opened it up.
You know what sucks is one of the differences between the so one of the major differences, for example, between Yu-Gi-Oh's common only and Magic's Popper, I'm hosting by the way, is you can't play high rarity cards that have been printed at common at one point. You have to play the common version of those cards.
Common version. Yeah.
So for me, like I would have to buy new Ash Blossoms if I wanted to play in like a common only tournament.
Doesn't that artificially create
Yeah,
that artificially creates cards worth money if Popper gets popular?
yeah, garbage, dude.
I think yours is garbage.
Oh yeah.
Shouldn't have milled. Oh, is this Make a Blue Eyes? Is this machine dupe the Blue Eyes the deck?
Yeah, but this is the line we have to go with. This is where we're at right now.
Shoutouts to Trevor, and then Raigeki gets played.
This one's this one's for you, Trevor. Raigeki immediately gets played.
Yeah, that makes sense.
You still won that duel.
Oh yeah. Oh, there's people that still want to try and play that classic Yu-Gi-Oh format. It's like it's such an intense format. And blah blah blah. It's like no, it sucks.
I legitimately that was the least fun I've ever had playing Yu-Gi-Oh in my entire life when we played that. That was like one of the worst formats I've ever played. Edison only seconded by Edison format.
I don't know why people like Edison.
That format is one of the worst formats, if not the no, that's the second worst format I've ever played. 2002 is by far the worst format I've ever played in my life. It's literally not about skill necessarily, but more about what your one ofs into what one ofs you can draw. Uh, like my gosh, that was like terrible. Edison made me want to bash my head into the wall, and I don't understand why people find that format fun. Like Edison's really bad, Goat's really bad. Uh, I don't think I'd have to check, but I don't think a fun format existed. When you actually go back and play them, you know, nostalgia aside, uh, before it's like 20, probably before like 2013, and even 2013, there are people debated whether that one would be even good because 2013 was Dragon Ruler format. But like Dragon Ruler format at a competitive level would probably be terrible, but Dragon Ruler format at a casual level is one of the funnest formats ever because people suck so bad at Dragon Rulers that you could beat Dragon Rulers, one of the best decks ever, with like one of the worst decks you've ever seen in your life, and it was so funny.
Because Dragon Ruler requires different type of thinking.
Mm-hmm. But it was really funny. Like there was times I would be dragon rulers with ice barriers, and that was like that's like really funny when you think about it because of how bad dragon rulers are, or not dragon rulers, but ice barriers are. Oh, I drew my other blue eyes. Okay, I drew all three blue eyes this game, Stefan.
I was just making huge plays to make huge plays. I figure the huge plays I make are way more entertaining than the logical plays.
I kind of want to like eventually rebuild erratics at some point, but like actually try to make them good instead of this dumb gimmick build. But the problem with them is that like no matter how I spin it, it's just be a worse Dragon Link.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure Dragon Link is still playable. It's just like a lot. It's just a like it's obviously worse, but I'm pretty sure it's still playable.
Much as I make fun of this deck and I hate it, it really does make Toad better than any other frog deck I've played.
You know, sometimes it's like that. It do be like that. They're red, lots are blue. Don't always be like that, but sometimes it do.
Sometimes it do.
Want special summon Tefnuit. We're gonna activate uh from Insist to give it 500 extra attack. We're gonna tribute this to special summon Nebthit. Um. hmm, Oh, I know what I'm doing. Okay, we're gonna do this. Okay, we haven't normal summoned. We're actually gonna normal summon this instead, and we're gonna do this, and we'll summon Blue Eyes here.
Wise.
Um.
No, dude, but I was watching the Shaman King,
mm,
and it just hilarious hearing, someone do the Kaiba voice. Not the Brock voice, but the actual Kaiba voice and simping over a little girl.
I don't think that's funny. I think that's weird.
It's weird but hilarious.
I
It's mostly just because they like treat her like a goddess because she's the leader of their group and everything.
mm,
But just hearing his voice, like not calling someone a third rate fucking duelist.
I'm gonna be perfectly honest with you. I made it like 4 episodes into Shaman King and just turned it off and never wanted to watch it again because I didn't like it.
It's pretty rough.
Like none of the characters are very like interesting.
Yeah, it takes a while for them to get to the interesting ones. Takes past the 4 episodes, which kind of sucks, but
It's because it's a lot. It's a shonen. Like like if I really wanted to watch it, I'd give it like a 30 episode try. That's the
oh yeah,
only
then you'd
way.
probably get caught up.
That's the only because that's the problem with shonens is they're really slow because they're meant to be these super long pace series. Very few shonens literally jump uh into like an interesting plot immediately.
Yeah, this one they actually sped it up because it's not the first time they've
Adapted it.
done the series. It's the remade one, which actually speeds up a lot of the stuff and gets rid of a lot of the real pointless stuff.
Yeah, I know that so You know what? I still stand by an anime that really that deserves a There's an anime. So the anime I think that deserves the a reboot, like super, like a huge reboot, is Soul Eater. I think Soul Eater really fucking deserves one.
Yeah.
Oh, you're playing dinosaurs. Got it.
I could be playing
Don't
Psy-Frames.
you lie to me.
I could play another deck that plays Gamma, and I mean, I'm not, but
I hate Gamma. Like I know it's a good card, but I hate it because every time I've ever played a Gamma, or like the Gammas and stuff like that, I literally just draw the side frame drivers and that's it. I'll play one
oof.
driver. I'll draw the driver. I won't draw a gamma. If I play multiple drivers, I will draw all the drivers. And I'm just like, no, like this. It's just literally like the worst fucking Garnet of all time, and I'd rather literally just not.
Uh, Forgot how to play this deck.
It's brain dead. Fucking like it's pretty fucking easy.
Don't make fun of me.
Then you do that, then you ban, then you send the baby. I also picked the wrong deck. I was supposed to pick a different deck that had this stuff in it. I didn't know what deck, so I should delete this deck. This deck's terrible. My attempt at like upgrading the Slifer precon. If you bought 3 of it or something like that. And then I realized it's not fucking worth doing in this build. And instead is worth you're like better off getting all the Jack Knight cards. So also like something I've noticed about a lot of the sealed formats that like YouTubers play, like almost all of them, they undercredit a lot of these like really bad, like weak archetypes for or archetypes that seem really weak or bad, um, because they never made it as a competitive strategy, and a lot of them think, hey, you know, in constructed Yu-Gi-Oh, this deck was amazing, but I would approach it like, hey, this deck in a sealed format or a limited format would probably dominate because a lot of these good cards are like commons and stuff like that, and that's and like it took them, I don't know how long to like realize that, because I think it was like near the end of Pendulum era where they realized, oh hey, look, these cards are amazing, like Timo and Gage in the progression series, for example, they like would play just worse versions of competitive decks these instead of playing decks that like are would be good if you only had access to like common cards that you pulled out of a booster box. Like it took like Simo, for example, like didn't like build Dynamists for like a very long time, even though he should have, because Dynamists are, they're not amazing, but they come in common. Like most of them are commons, and their cards are good enough that like in a very limited format, like they were in, would they would have been fine. But
I don't kill you, by the way. I
I
don't think
know.
I do.
Yeah, I know. I'm down to like 7,300 because this can't attack directly. There's literally one card in my deck that saved me from this situation. Actually, two, but that's probably not gonna happen. I need to draw. I need to draw them. That does not do it. Okay,
I screwed up somewhere on the plane of this. I'm an idiot.
I'm gonna delete this terrible deck. This one. The only card that actually would have saved me there, funny enough, was Slifer the Sky Dragon.
Hmm.
Is if I actually drew that, I could have outed your board. Uh, I just gotta think of what I want. Oh, look at your 2011 deck list. I'm gonna delete it.
Oh, yeah, that terrible thing.
uh, I think that like uh, I'm trying to think like what cards. Actually, while I have you here, let's look at what's banned and what's not. So looking at
Okay.
I'm looking at the ban list on Edo Pro.
I'll just pull up YouTube.
Mm-hmm. And I guess we can go over. This will be our quote unquote ban list video, I guess. Just part of the stream because I don't really like making them too much, but I do like talking about the ban list. Uh, so
The
like
Tyrant Neptune makes sense.
yeah, like cards like this card would probably we're gonna be broken eventually. Uh, I think all of these make sense. Until like Blaster could probably come back to one, but other this card is part in an FTK, and I don't know that yeah, this card has to stay banned because Topologic Bomber Dragon still exists. So you'd have to ban Topologic or just ban this card. And Topologic isn't doing anything, and this card would probably still be a problem anyway. Blaster could definitely come back to one. I don't think Tidal could. Astrograph, probably not. Redox, probably not. Master Plan, maybe?
That's a tough one.
Because when you look
Because
back at
Spiral came back, it's flexible enough it could keep linking.
probably the problem also like the issue with Spiral also is like that sometimes they just brick and as well, but then again you'd have to like you could probably update the list. Yeah,
Yeah,
I I guess you could I guess there's an argument that you keep this banned. The Strudel should probably stay banned.
yeah. It's like he's just free.
Unicorn can stay banned. It's not really interactable. So if you had like this and like literally like almost any other form of protection, it's just like gravy on top. Monkey board actually, I would like I think there's an argument monkey board probably could
Was
come back.
Unicorn a rare or a common? It was a
Rare,
rare, right?
yeah.
Okay. Could you imagine just being able to unicorn during common format?
Yeah. I I
Just
think
unicorn control.
monkey board. There's an argument it could probably come back because part of me thinks right if they want to keep monkey board banned and they want to keep a lot of the pendulum cards they did ban for Pepe. Part of me thinks that like if they're gonna do that, they could probably bring Electromite back, maybe,
Hmm.
or alternatively, they can keep Electromite banned since we're getting a new one that pretty much to promote sales for that, and they could unban A lot of the cards that they banned from Pepe, because I don't think Pepe would actually be as strong as it was back then with the new Master Rules. Because the problem with Pepe was it would put out these boards that were not crazy to break by today's standards, but back then it was pretty hard. And then on top of that, they could just do it again and do it again and do it again because they could just keep summoning 5 monsters. But you can't do that.
Yeah.
But you can't do that anymore because of the new Master Rules. So
Yeah.
I guess there's so there's probably an argument for the Pepe cards to come back. Some of them, not all of them. Goku, no, that's just free link fodder. Um,
You
Snow,
wish.
I wish, but probably not. I know a lot of people think Heartpora could come back, and I never really played against Orcus, so I don't really know. I played against Orcus when it wasn't super good, or at least it wasn't in the pans of like someone competent enough to play the deck correctly. So I don't know how good Orcus really were. I know it was a meta deck,
Their
but
field spell just made them quick effects that could do cool stuff.
mhm. And I can put out really insane boards. I knew that. I know that,
Yeah.
but I don't know. Maybe Clipswiver, no.
Nah, he's always a problem whenever he gets abused. Plush
Yeah,
fire, probably not.
yeah. Well, that goes
Plush
back to the
fire's a common.
pendulum argument about they could probably bringing them back. Again, no. Lunalight Tiger. What's funny about this card is that so this card was banned because the Lunalight deck, when all the cards got available to it, and pretty much it was literally would make like Azathoth Turbo and just would turbo out these rank 4s and stuff like that. But without Azathoth, I honestly don't think that the deck would be that big of an issue with this at 1. But maybe that's just me being biased because of Luna, because I like Luna Lights as like a dumb fusion OTK deck.
Huh.
Like because I know why it's there. But Cyberjar that could easily come back. Um, so these tuners, I don't think Steam could come back, but I think most of the tuners that are banned because of Halky Fibrax could come back if Halky Fibrax was banned. I don't think Steam the Cloak can come back because this thing makes a token as it's synchro summoned. Same thing, maybe with the Mecha Phantom Beast as well. It brings itself back randomly. Cyber Jar, like from a balancing issue, could come back, but from a tournament perspective, nah. It slows down tournaments. Probably, well, it would, but I think that with our new rules, it would probably be fine. No one's really gonna play it anyway, except for like super casual players that take it to like a regionals or a YCS. Talking like the table like 700 players, not even 500. Uh, Dandy probably
Play
not.
it.
I don't think Dandy could come back. You just synchro with the, or you don't synchro. You just link with this, and then you get 2 more tokens to link with.
Yeah.
This no.
Dandelion's fine where he is.
Uh,
Make a fan to be. Oh, Lion. Yeah, that king can't come back.
Maxseed cannot come back, and I don't care what anyone says. This card is dumb. It doesn't redraw a card. It reads skip your opponent's turn or win the duel. Yatagrasu can come back. Absolutely, it can come back.
Yeah, they fixed all the cards that really interact with them.
Yeah, and on top of that, even if they didn't do that, like this card can come back. Also, this card probably could have came back in Dragon Ruler format because this card is terrible. You have to already be winning. It is literally a win harder card. Uh, Level Eater, stay banned. Card's broken. Jet
It's
Synchron.
always been broken.
Jet Synchron probably could come back since it's a once per turn effect and it's a at like 1 if they bound Halky Fibrax. Magical Scientist, no, it's an FTK tool. Substitute, if it ever got unbanned, we'd be rich. Stefan specifically.
You say we would be rich. We would.
Yeah.
Hell,
Uh
I wasn't it when you came over. I offered you one as a coaster.
yeah.
Do you need a coaster for your drink?
Are you rich?
I was going through my stuff because I still have all my stuff in my room, right?
Mm.
And I keep finding stacks of them. So I don't even know how many substitutes I bought. Let's just say I bought too many of them.
You bought at least 20.
And the value of the card is only at it where it's at because I bought it up because I thought it would be hilarious. And it's stuck.
Fishborg Blaster was part of this really weird FTK
Yeah.
and hand loop, so that could probably stay where it is. Substitute also is an FTK enabler in of itself, so no. Um, Same thing with Mind Master. It's an FTK card and or hand loop card. If you get the field spell out, it literally just is tribute 1 and just keep special summoning them from your deck. Well, Bulb can come back to 1 if it wasn't for Halky Fibrax. This card was part of an FTK. And like it's really weird FTK. And so this card could stay banned. But I'm part of me thinks that that this like I don't remember how the FTK worked. I know that like one of it, which is part of me thinks it involved firewall, but I don't remember.
Yeah, I think it was a firewall one.
This card is the same as Tyrant Neptune. And people who said this card should, I remember Tyrant Neptune and this people who wanted this card and Tyrant Neptune off. Oh, it should be the Lyraloose card and everything because the Lyraloose card is the one is that's the problem. And I'm like, no, these cards are the problem because these cards are going to be
If
broken.
you get rid of the one card that's the problem, they just find more problems to use a Supreme King, you know.
Yeah, I know that Lyralooses are meta right now with Tri Brigades, but like I'm not sure if they even use their fusions, and if they do, they use it literally just as an Xyz tool. They don't use it for literally anything else.
What kind of format are we in where they're doing?
It's because of their new meta. It's because of their new cards, and like they have a Xyz that lets you just anytime your opponent special summons a monster, you get a bounce it as long as you have the materials because it's not a once per turn. So you set up like
Oof.
so you set up a bunch of negates, and then you set up that with a bunch of materials, and then you like if they do anything that you can't interact with, you just negate it, and then with the other cards, and then if you do if they special summon a monster, you just bounce it back. Colossus, I know a lot of people say this card should come back. I don't like mistakes that protect themselves. That sounds like a terrible, but hey, Thunder Dragons probably wouldn't do too much if this card was at 1, and there are outs to it. It's just that like I don't know. I think the Thunder Dragon players would be happy this came back. I don't know if how much I would like it. Although I barely played against this deck to be honest.
I played a little bit against it. Um, but I was playing Paleozoic Frog, so I mean,
Yeah.
I was just able to stop it. No, you stop that.
Elrond,
Norden can never come back.
I like that this card was not banned because of instant fusion, but banned because they were summoning it the correct way.
Yeah, I know. They start playing it the correct way, and that's when it got banned. That was like you remember the Height of Zoo format? There
Yeah.
was a dinosaur deck that banished your opponent's hand and whole deck. You know how
Mm.
he played the zoo cards? The way God intended.
Yeah.
He actually had no zoo monsters main deck. They were all the extra deck ones, and he was making them the way that you were supposed to.
That's hilarious.
So it was zoo dinosaur, but the zoo was all in the extra deck. And his whole thing is that it's like, oh, why don't you banish the deck first? Because if you screw up the combo anywhere,
Mm-hmm.
at least your opponent has no hand if you banish their hand.
Makes sense.
Ancient Fairy Dragon probably can't come back.
You know what's funny about this card is that some people credit it as the field spell part, and that's is part of it. But the thing that actually like got it banned is the extra special summon that it has.
Yeah.
Because when you're going first and you don't have a battle phase, that thing just doesn't matter, or the downside don't matter. Tempest is an
Yeah.
FTK. It's a janky FTK, so there's no like real way that like real reason it should be banned because it was never it was banned over in the OCG because it was a problem, but it never was a problem in the TCG, funny enough. Uh because we naturally played answers to it, whereas the OCG had to like put in answers to it later. So like this is an FTK, so it should probably stay banned um for balancing issues, but it's a janky FTK nonetheless. Ib is a too power is much too powerful. Um,
FBI, keep it banned.
Denlong,
That thing led to so many negates. I actually played the deck that got him banned,
yeah,
Dinosaurs. I remember how to play him because you just it got ridiculous, okay?
yeah,
There's a one thing to the next thing, the next thing is cool, you have negates. And oh yeah, your cards get banished instead of go to the grave, I think, too.
mm-hmm.
Um not off of Denlong alone, but from the cards you brought out. Yeah, he was pretty brutal.
This card.
Plus the changing of level. But, without the calamities, he might be a little less great.
He's still like a +1 though, isn't he?
Yeah.
Yeah, he's a
Plus one that sets up negates.
+1 and also a foolish burial. Uh,
He's a tuner.
that too. Um, Galaxy Eyes Dark Matter Dragon probably not. It foolishes 3 dragons from your deck and then takes out your opponent's cards. It's their 3 worst monsters, granted, but it's still not a very fair card, especially with new dragon support and stuff like that that came out. King, absolutely not. This card was unfair. Same thing with Galaxy Eyes. Outer Entity as a thought, no, because they'd summon it on their opponent's turn. Um, Shockmaster, absolutely not. This
That
card,
thing just says you don't get to play your turn.
I cannot,
Oh, what could my opponent possibly play that would stop me next turn? Detach, call it.
I honestly cannot fathom why anyone would think Shockmaster could come back if they hated True King of All Calamities so much, because this card is literally True King of All Calamities, but you don't have to call the fucking attribute right.
It's called Spell, Trap, or Monster.
Yeah, you just in with Shockmaster, you just always call monster. Like 99% of the time, you call monster. If you don't know what you're playing against, you call monster. If you do know what you're playing against, you call the exact card you need. For example, if I was playing against you know, a Paleozoic deck, I'd probably call trap. Well, no, maybe I'd probably call monster if I was going first against a paleo deck and I played this, so that you'd have to set your back row, and then you'd set up for the back row hate that I cited in as well, and then uh like on top of, like, yeah, I legitimately cannot fathom why anyone would ever think this card could come back. Evolvable Chain. This card is. I wish it would come back because I like this card, but I know this card's not fair.
I own a few copies of it. I used to play it in Zombies. It was a pretty fun zombie card.
Yeah, I used to
It was
play it in.
cool owning $100 card at one point.
I used to play it in. I didn't own the card in real life, but I play online with it, and I played it in uh uh Clown Blade, the deck that you
Yeah,
the deck that was never a thing over here. because Lavable Chain got banned before we got all the cards to make it work.
We still ran a variant of it, but not the pure or the correct.
Yeah, Rongo is too strong, especially because there's like tons of ways to still summon out like 5 warrior monsters. I know that's not why he was banned. Is they weren't summoning 5 warrior monsters. They were summoning like 2 and then 3 and then attaching all of it with another card or something like that, or 3 and
Cheating
then
it.
yeah.
Yeah, they were using the gospel thing to cheat it under them.
Mm-hmm. So this card's interesting. Telemaios, I remember why this card is banned, and I remember at the time how oppressive this card was and why it deserved to be banned. But I think nowadays it really wouldn't matter. Do you remember why this card's banned?
Let's see, you went from him to oh, who did you go into with him? I can't remember what it was.
It was so what would happen is rank 4 decks would set up these boards with like Dweller and then would make him and would either end on him specifically or would end on or would use its effect immediately to detach 3 and go into Cyber Dragon Nova and then throw on Infinity because this was banned before the before Kaiju's, and Infinity was actually like annoying to get over at that time.
Oh yeah, he was a just a free affinity. Huh.
Uh-huh. He was a free Infinity. So like at the time it was really, really busted, and nowadays we have so many infinities and we have tons of ways to out it. It wouldn't be as much of a problem.
It's like I was forgetting why he was so oppressive. That probably means he just wouldn't do as good. I mean, we have Shark that literally brings out Toad.
Hmm. Uh there's another issue with him that like if you manage to detach 7, you skip your opponent's next turn. Um but the likelihood of you getting that is like you'd have to have the gospel, obviously. And you'd have to have like a ton of materials under this already, and then you'd have to make the gospel as well. So like that would be really it's easier to pull off than it would be in the past, but it's
Couldn't we just use substitute cards to just substitute the effect and detach from them?
maybe. Then you can permanently skip your opponent's turn. Maybe. Trident, this card. If I remember correctly, this card came back to 1 and then got hit again.
Yeah.
uh that's funny. Rod Bull is a no-go. It's just literally a search for any beast warrior, pretty much. That can be says that can be normal summon or set, but you're not gonna play one that's not gonna do that. Um, Invoker is probably not not good because I think it'll just we bring back like these like warrior link decks, and those are like
Our guide to Invoker is pretty powerful.
mm-hmm. Then maybe this card could come back if the Wind Up Hunter got banned, but as long as Wind Up Hunter is around, this card cannot come back because it's gonna be
Wasn't
doing
Hunter once again a TCG exclusive?
maybe.
There for a while. I think they've most of the time whenever we get really busted format cards and people hate it, it didn't happen over Japan because it was just a TCG exclusive.
Yeah. Um, this card is a dumb card that just says you can't activate
Skip.
anything. So no, no. Oh, look at me! I'm gonna fucking hand loop, hurdy dur. One, one of the this card and Firewall at the time was responsible for a full year of nothing but FTKs and hand loops. We'd have FTK,
Yeah.
and then they finally banned Firewall after seemingly not wanting to. And then this card was like, hey, guess what? We're gonna hand loop you for like 2 formats. And then they're like, you know what? No, we're banning this. And we're like, finally. I'm happy this card's gone. I hated this card.
Oh, I love that card. I used to play it in Frost. You
I
could just make so many janky plays with it.
So, like, the thing about this card is that, like, when I saw it, a lot of people were like, "Oh man, we need summon Sork over here." I was like, "No, we don't, because this card doesn't lead to anything good. It's just gonna be nothing but brokenness." And I was right. It would lead to these boards that were like close to unbreakable. You could probably break the boards now, but it still wouldn't lead to very fun gameplay. Electromite. Some people will say this card they want this card back and they could come back. I'm not 100% sure, but I do think pendulums need a card like this. I know the new one's coming
Yeah.
out, and the new card is pretty good, but uh, it's interesting, I guess. Um, Argapane, no. Dragon Link would just like start probably topping again. Goblin, no. Even though extra linking isn't that big of a deal anymore, the extra normal summon is. Um, Union Carrier, no. It led to broken fields and stuff like that. Nightmare Mermaid led to like locking people out of the extra deck. So no. LP led to led to broken boards. Some people were wanting this card banned for a long time. No. Linktross was a very stupid card. And would pretty much just led to like infinite freaking link summoning. Alright. Now I'll let the screen catch up so that we can talk about this card. And
That's
what?
caught up. You're good. Change of heart.
Yeah, it's a change of heart. This card cannot come back, right?
Right.
Correct. Okay, so
That is it's too powerful.
yeah.
I remember because one time my older sister was cleaning my room because they were using my room as storage
Mhm.
whenever we lived in a place. And, she was cleaning up. She's like, hey, she's like, I found this card in your car. It's called Change of Heart. Why don't people play this? It seems good. I'm like, it's banned because everybody would play it. There is no instance where you wouldn't be playing it.
Yeah, funny enough, cards like Change of Heart and Pot of Greed were originally banned not because they were too good, but not necessarily from a balancing perspective, but it was actually just done to diversify decks.
Yeah. And there's no instance, I think, where you wouldn't be playing Change of Heart.
Yeah,
It has no drawback.
that grass looks greener. This card is interesting, and I think that so I think that grass part of me wants it back in the game because what it did was it led to a lot of interesting deck building choices and like people like trying new decks. And so like you wouldn't know when you went and sat down
Paleozoics
at a
liked it.
what?
Paleozoics liked it.
Yeah. But like I thought that grass, like the format around it was really cool because when you sat down, you didn't know if you were facing against a 60 card deck or a 40 card deck immediately. And
Oh man, that made the mirror or not the mirror, but the both players playing 60 just crazy. That also was at the time where we had Paw Desires around that time too, was in the play, right?
yeah.
So then what that did is if you Pot of Desired and your opponent was playing a 60 card deck, you pretty much just killed yourself
It,
if they got the grass. Because I've had it happen with Pod Desires, and I have to do it, draw two, and the opponent, all right, do this, this, this. Opponent, grass, does it resolve? Yeah. I lose.
it leads to interesting deck building choices, and I know that it would probably be problematic and stuff like that, but I think it's cool. It probably should stay banned, but it would be cool to come back. Confiscation, no. Heavy storm probably could. Um, we have feather duster, and there isn't really like too many pluses. You could
I
get off
think the
pretty easy.
argument against Heavy Storm was always it destroyed your own too. And so there were some cards that apparently can abuse that
Yeah, I know that that's the argument, but I'm not sure what deck would
if
be
it's a
like.
good argument.
I'm not sure if it's a good enough argument to keep heavy banned.
Pendulums were still huge. Yeah, you'd keep it banned because destroying your own scales to reset other scales is just powerful. But
Well, that whole mechanic got nerfed, so I don't know.
yeah, I don't. Yeah, if they were still a thing, yeah. Now if they're not, no.
Dimension Fusion is a
Dimension
no-go.
Fusion, no. Too
Giant,
many cards banished now.
so back on this topic of like destruction, mass backyard removal. I don't think Giant Trunade could come back because there's more cards to actually abuse Giant Trunade with cards like Giant Trunade than there is like with Heavy
Yeah,
Storm. I think this card is a lot more broken potentially than Heavy Storm and Harpy's Feather Duster. Forceful Century is not very. It's not fun interactive gameplay. So no. Delinquent Duo, no. Most of the hand rip cards don't lead to interesting gameplay. They lead to like just, oh hey, I drew my Delinquent Duo turn one, and I'm just gonna rip out your two cards, and then you're probably
felt
gonna
bad when
lose.
we were playing it.
Yeah, it's not a fun card to play against. Metamorphosis, probably not, but this card is like,
Hilarious.
yeah. Because like the thing about this card is one of those cards that only got better with time.
Yeah.
Imagine just I like playing a Red Eyes deck and just metamorphosing out a Last Warrior from another planet.
Last Warrior decks are hilarious.
Yeah, Soul Charge led to a lot of unbreakable boards and stuff like that, and basically this was the whole. I don't care what anyone says. This card was the single reason why fucking Blue Eyes was ever meta in the first place.
Yeah.
Because I watched like tons of replays and stuff like that from Blue Eyes back in that format, and went, they just always draw Soul Charge. That's what it was. They weren't a good deck. They were. It's just the Soul Charge was good. Pot of
That's
Greed.
messed up.
Pot of Greed. No. But I'd like it for Sylvans, but nah. But Pot of Greed. Pot of Greed is broken as hell.
Well, my brother was like, why don't they just bring Pot of Greed back? I'm like, it draws two cards. I'm like, and that's all it does. So yeah, but if everyone's playing it, then it's fine, isn't it? No, it's not. It's not fine at all.
It's really weird to
I'm like,
explain that in Magic. So like the difference between Magic and Yu-Gi-Oh is that Magic tutoring specific cards is better, and then Yu-Gi-Oh drawing cards is better.
yeah. I'm like, what? And I'm like, because you could be in a losing situation, draw a Pot of Greed for your turn, play Pot of Greed, draw two more cards. Now you've seen two more cards into your deck. You're up one card that could turn the whole situation around for free.
Mm-hmm.
It's too powerful.
Absolutely. Cold Wave is also stupid. Like,
Yeah.
this card isn't just like, oh hey, play this, push for game anymore. This is, hey, I play this, then I combo off with all my monster effects, not using spells or traps, and then all I have to do is make sure I negate monster effects, and then you can't do anything. Card's dumb. You can't even set cards to like set your back row to like prepare for on their turn for like trap interaction if you were playing Paleos. If I flip this on
Yeah.
you, if I like flip this on you and then made a way to just like negate your frogs and everything, you legitimate like Paleos for example would lose the game in that situation.
Yeah.
Uh,
It's just not a fun card to. It's not healthy for the game. Painful choice is not healthy for the game.
this is send the this is get your freaking 5 cards that you want to just kill your opponent. This is like, so before what this card was originally used for was so it was actually just you select the 5 best spells and traps in your deck, your power spell and traps, You get the one that you want from your opponent, or the one you don't want from your opponent. You get the one that you probably like, the least powerful one, and then you eventually get the other ones back. And then this became a, hey, guess what? I played this, and now my graveyard's set up for chaos. And then it got banned. And nowadays it would literally be like, hey, guess what? What if I sent these five cards that have, if this card is sent to the graveyard effects or graveyard effect, and all that. Imagine this in Dragon Ruler format. Just send all the Dragon Rulers.
I was just thinking, I was like, it doesn't even specify they have to be different names. You just reveal 3 cards that you want to go to the graveyard.
Mm-hmm. We're gonna move on to Graceful Charity, which is even stronger than Pot of Greed, so it should stay banned.
Digs 3.
And it discards too, so it sets up your graveyard effects too.
Yeah.
Last Will's
Just
broken.
that
Imagine linking.
must be the Japanese art.
It is. Imagine like link summoning and then last willing and then getting another free monster from your deck. Pretty nuts.
It didn't work in the original format how it was supposed to.
Yeah, I know. You had to play it first, which was really weird. Which is why no one, you would play it first. Like how it originally works is you'd have to play it first. Then you would have to have the monster somehow leave the field, and most of the time that wasn't going to happen from your own volition, so it didn't work properly. And then they made it so that just if a monster left your field this turn, then it worked. You only get one effect, obviously, but still. So we're moving to
Oh,
what
Judgment.
Judgment, and what's funny about this card is that what does this card do anymore? Like, let's say I add 9, okay? I add 9 spellbook specific cards from my deck to my hand, and I special summon one. Broken, right? Not gonna argue that. But I'm adding specifically spellbook cards, and the only one that interacts is gonna be Fate, and I would have to have already drew Fate and set it because I add the cards during my end phase. And then the monster I summon is only going to be Jowgen. Jowgen's the best thing I can actually summon with it. So what's funny is that, like, I don't think that the hand advantage is going to be like is quite enough to really like uh do it, at least for this current format. What's funny about the Spellbook and Dragon Rulers decks is there are some formats and where people would like, hey, what if these cards came back and stuff like that, where Spellbooks would just like completely dominate and would be the best deck, and then there are other ones where Dragon Rulers are. But now people would be like, hey, let's bring back full power Dragon Rulers and full power Spellbooks, and we're gonna play and we're gonna try to update the decks as much as possible, and they still don't do anything as much as they don't do when you play them like they did back kind of in like 2013. They don't do anything, but I feel like if you updated the decks properly, you probably could. But I think Judgment to 1 might be okay. The only issue is like summoning Jowgen and locking your opponent out could be an issue. But other than that, also you played bad card. A lot of most Judgment decks back then played bad cards to like make it work. But I don't think you'd have to back then nowadays as much. So I don't know. I want it back as a spellbook player, but also I recognize that it is a fundamentally broken card at the same time. And it's in this weird position that I think it's meta dependent more than anything. Anyway,
Yeah.
let's move on to Brilliant Fusion. I want it back, but I know it can't come back.
Many decks I built where I just started with Brilliant Fusion and went, all right, what else am I playing?
Yo, my Troop Dupe Scoop deck fucking played this and it was amazing.
Toon deck played it.
I think every deck, like, I think that was the issue, is that every deck played it.
Well, I mean, when I built the Toon deck, I just built it and then put Brilliant Fusion in it. It was like, yeah!
Your Toon deck was basically my Troop Dupe Scoop deck, but instead of Troop Dupe, it was Brilliant Fusion. It was Toons.
Yeah.
Well, I
Oh,
think
Mass Driver can't come back.
probably not. Um, maybe. Well, no, yeah, it can't come back because this card. I don't know because like this card, you don't have to commit your normal summon to it like you would have to with Cannon Soldier, or find a way to special summon like Cannon Soldier does. But at the same time, this isn't as searchable as Cannon Soldier is.
I don't think it could. It just does too much. Could you just imagine playing against an opponent that has the field spell up that you hate the most with a Mass Driver, and they're just seeing there like, oh, our monsters are the same. Now they're not.
You know what? You convinced me. This card should stay banned.
It allows you to inflict damage for no reason other than Kaiser can't come back.
Card's dumb. You can't even like tribute summon a monster. So like to get over it. So like for example, one of the issues with this card is for like this card got banned um around Cleafort format if I'm correct. But uh for example, you'd play this and then like I think Cleafort's was like the card or the reason this card got banned because you just summon this and then summon towers. There wasn't really much you could do about it other than special Cyber Dragon and link away or fuse fusion away that way. But this definitely can't come back. Like there's so many issues with this card's game design. I remember when I first saw this is when I first came back to the game because I just never ran into it even though I played when this
A
card
really
was out.
old card.
Yeah, I played when this card was out and everything. I just never ran into it, and then all of a sudden I ran into it, and I went, "This card's stupid." But yeah, Mirage of Nightmare. This card's dumb, like broken as hell.
But yeah, even if you can draw the cards and then just destroy it before you have to pay the effects of it.
And even what's even worse is that like even if you don't do that, the discarding the cards at your standby phase probably could help you nowadays too.
You still get to keep the one card that you inevitably you you
You
effectively get to keep one the card that you draw. You get to see extra cards, and then you just get rid of the one that you didn't need.
I mean, it's randomly discarded, but at the same time, if you don't get rid of it, we have so many graveyard effects that I'm not sure that the downside is even that big anymore. Uh, Zodiac Barrage, probably not with Tri Brigade Zoo, literally like barely unplayable now that Dryden's banned. Card of Safe Return, absolutely not. This card maybe could come back to one if they added a hard once per turn to it. Like, can only draw a card of Safe Return once this way. It could probably come back then. But as it stands, no.
Run
That's
done for days.
Snatch Steal, absolutely not. We had one format, literally one, where they brought it back, everybody played it, and they went, yeah, no, that was a mistake. Just
No, I lost to my own freaking Thunder King Ryo. Just summon Ryo like I was supposed to attack, and the opponent just went Snatch Steal. Yeah, attack you with Thunder King. Okay, my turn. Draw. Got nothing. Okay, pass. Give you 1,000. Attack you with Thunder King. It's like this card is not good to healthy for the game. Like, yeah, you're right.
this card had a hand loop. Smoke Grenade of the Thief. It wasn't even a janky hand loop. It was actually pretty consistent with the new Noble Knights, the Infernal Noble Knights. Elma, you know what's funny about Elma is it can miss timing.
Huh.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, it's a win effect. Okay.
It's a win and it's an optional win. So
I
it can
used to use Elmo with what? butterfly fly sprite or some weird ass combo that wasn't supposed to work and it probably didn't work. And you just inflict 500 damage to the opponent and then just keep recycling Elma and bah.
Hmm. This card is part of a FTK, a few FTKs, but they both involve it involves Royal Magical Library, Gear Free, the Iron Knight, and this card. And I don't think that it's really worth playing all those cards. That being said, I don't think this card can come back because I think that someone would find another way to break it. But this card is not super good, but I also think that someone would find a way to make it like broken again. Premature, probably not.
You give yourself life points.
Yeah. Premature, probably not, because there are cards. We have cards that bounce our own spells and trap cards too. So like, uh, whether those cards would be good or not, the decks would be good or not, because most of the ones that are in pretty janky decks. Uh, don't know. But it's probably worth just keeping on the ban list just in case. They'll
Oh, it's
sort.
searchable too. There's a card. I can't remember its name. Hidden Armory. Just mill the top card of your deck
There's
and then
other
add one equip spell from your deck to hand.
there are other search ways to search it too. Like there's ways to like get it from the graveyard to your field and stuff like that without using your saying the clause of you can't normal summon like Hidden Armory has. There's a link monster that like you discard a card then can get a continuous or a equip spell. Also, the infernal noble knights can get this card back as well. So like,
Hmm.
and with the noble knight link monster, you can mill this, summon out one of your noble knights, for example, and then go off from there. So yeah, that's probably not a good thing to have. Chicken game.
Yeah.
Chicken game is very interesting because like I like what it does for the game. I just know that it's broken and people would have FTKs. Although the FTKs wouldn't be nearly as consistent now that terraforming is to one. But it's funny what this card actually did to the game. How with this card there was a lot of FTKs and then other decks, if you didn't run into an FTK, played it the way that it was intended, where you would just keep paying life points and whoever got low and the lowest would happen. All that. It's really cool. It's really funny that the OCG has this and Upstart at 3 and they don't play them.
Yeah. It's because their play style is different than ours.
True.
We look at percentages because we try and look at it like gambling, and I think they just go, let's play this.
Alright. So this card, um some people I've seen a few YouTubers say that this card can come back because it's a trap card and it's terrible, but they don't understand the way you're supposed to use this.
I call six every single time. I win regardless what
I
happens.
call 6 and 5 every time because you declare two numbers.
Yeah. You call 6 and 5 and you just
Yeah, so you declare 6 and 5. If you roll a 5, you draw 5. If you roll a 6, you mill 6 or you draw 6. If you roll a 4 and after you declare 5 and 6, you mill 4 cards. Same thing with 3, same thing with 2, same thing with 1. Some people, the argument that I heard some people is you declare 1 and 6, and then, but I went no, because if you roll a 1, I would rather mill the card than draw 1 card and have a worse jar of greed.
yeah. It's like 5 and 6. Because if you roll 5 or 6, you're going to draw 5 or 6. If you don't, oh well, you're going to mill 4 at the least.
Yeah, or at the most, technically. But still,
Most, yeah.
least would be 1. But still, I think that, like,
One.
this card is a, like, Paleozoics would love this card. Like it does everything you want because you can train the Paleozoic to this too.
Yeah,
All right, return. So I think
it's a common, by the way.
Sixth Sense or return.
Sixth Sense.
Uh,
It was a short printed common in Yugi's world or Joey's world. Can't remember which one.
I'm pretty sure it was Joey. It's I want to say it was
Probably
Joey's.
Joey's world because it's one of his cards.
I want to say it was Joey's because I want to say that that was the selling point for it because I know that or it was Yugi's world. It might have been Yugi's. It was one of the two. Yeah, but that was it got brought back for one format, and it was obvious that it was specifically format that day. But yeah, uh, for that exact format, because the whole point was to try to sell uh that product because there wasn't anything in it. And I want to say it was Joey's World because I'm pretty sure with
Yep,
Yugi's,
Legendary Collection for Joey's world. I just looked it up because I wanted to know what the price of it was
yeah,
because it's a common.
yeah,
So in that stupid commons format, if they don't have the ban list going,
yeah,
he just 6 cents.
yeah. I think that Sixth Sense probably should stay banned because I'm pretty sure it was that because the selling point for Yugi's World was that we finally got Quasar at an affordable price.
Yeah.
Um, I think Return is pretty interesting actually. I think like there's an argument that Return wouldn't because it's slow, wouldn't do anything. Oh hey, look, another bot. Guess I'll get rid of them too. But um yeah, I think that Return is in like slow enough that it probably wouldn't do anything. Last turn, this is a headache and of itself for rulings and such like that. So should probably stay banned. Funny enough, the cards on it,
Return is also a common.
yeah. Funny enough about last turn, the two monsters on it are spirit monsters, so you wouldn't be able to special summon one of them.
Yeah.
Time Seal. So what's funny about this card is I don't think it would actually be that big of an issue at like I don't think it would actually be that big of an issue because they'd still get one turn, and then on top of that, you have to play 3 times. You have to play Time Seal in your deck, and there's better cards, honestly, than making your opponent skip their next draw phase.
Oh man.
But yeah, I think that Time Seal probably could come back. I don't know if it could come back to 3. It probably could come back to 1, and I don't think anybody would play it. Self destruct button is banned because of headaches and stuff like that in tournaments and old tournament policy rulings that don't hold up anymore.
Yeah, because you played self destruct button if you won once with your janky burn deck. So then
Yeah.
your janky burn deck turned into a self destruct button so that you could just get the one win and then you just progress to the next round with your win.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and I don't think it
That's
works like that anymore. I'm pretty sure they changed the
uh,
policy on how that works. But yeah, Dust Shoot,
brutal card.
crap Dust Shoot. I hate this card. I think this card is fucking terrible. I think this card was terrible back when it came out, not because it was broken, but because it's actually just a bad card that people played. The only
Feels
de-
good playing three of them though.
the only deck that I can see an argument to actually running this card would be Paleos. And even then, I'm not sure Paleos would want it.
No, it doesn't really progress much.
No,
I'd play
Mind Crush.
Mind Crush.
The thing about Mind Crush is you can't look at your opponent's hand anymore to double check.
Yeah.
You have to take their word for it. But then again, if you find out that they cheated, then
You win.
yeah. Uh,
and they get banned.
but anyway, Trap Dust Shoot, I think this card's terrible, and it could probably come back to one. And if someone watches the video of this later, they can crucify me in the comments and everything if why I'm an idiot if you know they think I'm wrong. But uh, I think this card is pretty terrible. This card is terrible to play against. Vanity's Emptiness.
I remember when it was at 3.
Oh, you and me both. People played three main
I,
deck.
I, I remember it was at 3, and like I sat there and I was playing it when it was at 1, and the person sitting across from me went, "You remember when this thing was at 3? Yeah. How did we play Yu-Gi-Oh? Me, we didn't.
We main decked three mystical space typhoons
Yeah,
because we had to.
yeah, but your MST became a twin twister, pretty much.
Yeah, I remember this card was at 3. Everybody was complaining how expensive it was. They reprinted it. It was a short print.
It's a common.
Yeah, I know. They reprinted it. It was a short print, and people complained about it because the short print was still like $50. Then they reprinted it as an easy to get super rare and Secret Forces, which was the box with Necros in it, which people bought tons of. I bought one box of it myself because I wanted Ritual Beasts. And funny enough, this card, I had like 4 copies of this. Got to play like 3 of them for one format. Then it got limited. That was pretty wild. Anyway, this card can't come back. It's just it doesn't lead to very interactive gameplay. Could you imagine if Kieran and this card came back? You just sit on Kieran with this card. Kieran bounce this fucking.
It's making Kieran control, man.
Yeah. You imagine Luna control with this? I mean, Luna control wouldn't be as bad as Kieran control with this, but still. Ultimate Offering. No, because as we found out from other cards, the ability to normal summon multiple times is actually a very, very powerful.
But the gadget player in me loves this card.
From a balance perspective, it's not, for they can't come back. There's decent art. This card
Could you
is
imagine Vanity's Emptiness and Ultimate Offering?
imagine
Hell yeah.
imagine Royal Oppression.
Yeah, Gadget's played it.
This card's dumb and should stay banned. But that's the end of this ban list segment of this stream. So I think that because I don't really want to go over the limited list, there's 102 banned cards. Well, some of them have multiple arts, but that's a lot. Like I think that we should like start trying to downsize on the ban list somehow. Uh,
Yeah, we should reprint Black Lotus. What?
they should kind of, um, to some degree. They should make it more accessible to people, and they should abolish the reserve list because that thing's stupid anyway. But that's my take on it. As far as the stream goes, how long have we been streaming is the real question.
Let me refresh and find out. 2 hours.
Yeah, I guess we can end this here.
Cool, cool.
That was interesting. Let's